What's going on, good people? Brandmaster Martina, Britt, Yelverton here, and we are back on today's After Office Live training. We're discussing how to identify the skills you've been overlooking. So, if you are interested in learning how it is that you can stop sitting on the value that you have built, but you can now name it and you can now sell it, then today is a day that you do not want to miss out on this information. So we have the business PC back. We have some new software added. So I myself am going to be interested in hearing how this sounds live on the replay myself, just to hear some of the enhancements that we've made will make a difference in the delivery of the value that we are here each and every Tuesday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to give you. You're sitting on value, but until you can name it and you can receive it, you cannot sell it. So again, today we're going to be discussing how to identify the skills that you've been overlooking. You've learned, survived, built, and navigated through more than you realize. But if you don't know how to identify those skills and then connect them to your brand, then you're leaving money on the table. So in today's session, we're breaking down how to recognize overlooked talents, monetize transferable skills, and how to position them in a way that your audience will actually recognize the value, right? Stop downplaying what you've done, guys, and start branding it. Do I need to say that again for the people in the back? Stop downplaying what you've done and start branding it, right? So, key points that we're going to cover today are the number one reason that people overlook their value, how to spot the unpaid skills that really matter to those people who need to relate to and get access to for their come up, right? How to differentiate between the hard skills, the soft skills, and the story based credibility. We're also going to talk about some case studies where we have actually turned mentorship, my motherhood, or my ministry for doing all of this into a brand skill set and how you can do it too. Mapping out those skills to real world results is what you want to do. That's what they're waiting for. That's what they're wanting from you. Okay. So on today, we're going to really pay attention to that. And we're going to jump right into that, right? So we are diving into some really powerful information, the skills that you've been sitting on, sleeping on, and stepping over, right? That are literally the key to your next level of visibility and value. So I hope you are ready for that. I hope that makes absolute sense to you and you are ready to take that ride on today. But before we jump over into that, I've done some looking around on YouTube, and I'm going to see if I can get a secondary screen up here so I can show you guys a few of these stats so it will make sense to you so that you can see some of the value that I myself have actually been overlooking and why it's important that you pay attention to this value for your your mobility, your moving forward, and all of that as well. So I'm going to see if I can get the screen shared so I can show it to you guys and you can understand that even I have overlooked some value that's extremely important, and even I need to pay better and more attention to that. So let's drop that down a little bit lower, ensuring that you guys can see what you need to see and pull that up on the screen. So these are some stats that are going on inside of YouTube. And the number one thing that really I had to pay attention to is some of my audience information and where it gave me the subscribe and unsubscribed information. And it is letting me know that several of you that actually watch the information are actually not currently subscribed to the channel. That's huge. So look at this, 80% basically of you that actually engage with the channel and watch the channel are not subscribed to the channel. So just in case you are not sure where, when, and what you need to do, you need to look below and you need to select the bell and you need to subscribe to the channel so that not only are you subscribed, but so that you can also you can get the alerts to let you know whenever we are live giving out this value, right? This is important information that I myself have overlooked over time. And it's important that you see it and know it and utilize it. So great. I thank you for the 20% of you that are subscribed, but for the 80% of you that are not subscribed, please take the opportunity to do that. It helps the channel reach more people and it helps me know because I'm able to look at even more logistics of who and what you are. So now the females are coming back. You heard me say when we first began looking at our analytics and not realizing exactly who we're talking to, we found out we were talking to over 75% of the males. I guess you ladies heard that and said, no, you talking to me too. Okay. And I don't want you to overlook me. So you guys have made a major surge here and you've now come back to where it is more valuable to you. Also, I was really shocked to see that even this age range of 25, right, is part of the audience. Come to find out, yes, I already knew my 65 plus crew, right, were interested in this information because a lot of the information that I give really helps you become less fearful of technology and you become more knowledgeable about what you can do in the realm of branding. So yes, I 100% knew that that was a market, an age range that I spoke to. And so I appreciate you guys. Again, if you have not had the opportunity, then you do need to go ahead and opt in, subscribe, so that I can know more about your needs and I can know more about you. So specifically today, one of the ways that you just saw me identify some of the skills that I've been overlooking is by going deeper inside of a platform that is free to all of us called YouTube. And it allowed me to see more and identify who it is that I need to be, I guess, revamping, adjusting this information to be able to serve you. So literally that may be an option that you have to do. You have to go back into your arsenal and what you have available to you to identify some of the skill sets, some of the tool set, and even some of your mindset around what you have access to and how you could utilize it to serve your audience better. Okay. So let's jump into whew, this mindset that some of us have with regards to our own story. Okay. A lot of us have the mindset of I can't, or I don't, or who would be interested in. I don't have anything special. I don't have any special skills. I don't have any special XYZ. I've met many an entrepreneur who will say this, yet they've coached friends, family, loved ones through transitions. They've juggled responsibilities that they have on their plates like a pro. They've built systems, even on the job that they actually dislike and are moving forward in realms that they don't even realize is very, very valuable to someone else. Okay. And because they've done this, they are practically, experts in that realm. They don't even realize that they are now the perfect example for what their dream client needs because they do this naturally and they're missing the mark on realizing how important that specific skill set is and how valuable it is to the person who hasn't a clue about that. Okay. And so stop sitting on your story. Someone out here needs the value of what you don't realize is extremely important. Okay. The truth about it is, you don't need a fancy certificate to have marketable skills. Your brand will get and grow stronger the moment that you recognize your value and realize, I already have something that someone else needs. So I would love it if you guys could do an exercise with me today. And you could actually stop and press pause and think for a moment and ask, what are people always asking me for help with? Think about that. I'll give you even a breath of space to stop and think about that. What are people always asking you for help with? I hope you're taking the moment to write that down or you're taking a moment to think about that because it's really, really important that you stop overlooking that skill set and you start thinking, what are people always asking me about? And realize that it's something that you can answer with ease. What is that one thing that you do better than most without even thinking about it? What is it that comes to you again with ease? What have you built or what have you organized that solved a real problem for someone else? What is that one, two, three things even? Think about that. Write that down because that is the something that you're sitting on that someone else really needs assistance or help with. What is that? Let me give you an example. You may have run a community event or built out the logistics of something, of an event, of a church function, of the family reunion, of an event, just an outing for an evening. That's called project management. I hope you realize that. I myself have raised 4 beautiful beings on and off as a single mom, through marriage and miscarriage, through divorce and eviction, through birth and death, through the welfare system, surviving domestic violence, right? But I have 4 amazing kids to show for all the trials and tribulations that I have gone through while juggling a job initially, then running a business, having left corporate America, taking on a part-time job for a few months just so I could realize I can't do it all. But honestly, that's systems. That was time management. That was also resilience. You're overlooking a skill set that you have that is marketable, that is valuable to someone who is stuck and struggling right now, trying to figure out how to make it through, how to go from A to B to C, and to eventually get to their abundance at Z, right? And this, my friends, is a brand, right? Those are marketable assets, but they're only marketable assets when they're positioned correctly. So literally, what I need for you to do is stop overlooking that one thing that you are really, really good at. For me, it's hard to figure out how to surmount what this is called. But one thing I get called out a lot on is recognizing when something is out of order, when it is a disconnect, when it doesn't make sense, when it doesn't flow correctly, when that scene in a movie is just out of left field, it does not belong there, when that individual did not have on that shirt in the last scene, when there was too much empty space in a scene, when the inflection and the connection between the actors is just off, when someone does make a glimpse at the camera and how the director missed it, I don't know. When some attire, like my son says all the time, we need to do movie critiques. We were just talking about it again the other day. We do this each and every time we go out to dinner. We're sitting there comparing what we're eating to the last place that we went to, comparative to why we like that place over the place that we're at. Okay, something like that. Food critic, not mukbanging, but food critic. And I'll give you an example. Just recently, we went to a very well-known seafood establishment, and one of the things that was so annoying is that, and let me know if this resonates with you guys, because to me, when you order something that is buffaloed, you really do expect it off top to be boneless or shell-less. And the reason is because by the time it gets doused and dripped and all in the salsa of the buffalo sauce, you just want to be able to put your fork in it and put it in your mouth and devour it, flavor and all. But when you actually have to deshell it or pull the bones out of it, the gristle and all of that out of it, so you can still get the completeness of the buffalo and the actual protein in the meat, all that together, it's too much work. I think that's why my son dislikes crab legs, because it's so much work to get to the crab meat. And I completely understand that. But I don't know if that's a skill set that is marketable, even though I know it is, even though I know that the movie could be better if those particular scenes were withdrawn. The food could be better if you actually deshelled the shrimp before you doused it. in the batter and breaded it and then fried it and then dropped it into, the buffalo sauce. And then once deep fried it or however you did it, by the time it got to the plate, we didn't still have to de-shell the shrimp, or we still didn't have to debone the meat. Think about that. That's a critique that you could actually give the restaurant. Noting the space and time that's missing in a movie, that's an asset that you could give the industry to help them make the movie better. The same with you and the skills and the assets that you have. Being able to think through, and it's Henry Ford that said, the most important thing or process that we as human beings have, and yes, I'm paraphrasing, is to think through a process, but that is one of the most important steps, and so many people lack doing that. And when you don't think through a process, catastrophe awaits you. Okay. And so when you think about that, and you think about your marketable assets, and you think about your valuable assets, and you think about being the single parent who is raising 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or more kids by yourself, that is a marketable asset. There are systems, there is project management, there's relationship development, there are skills, resilience abides there. And you have to think about all of that so that you can move through the process of how you can now get that value out to someone else who needs it. So before you allow yourself not to go through the activity of figuring out your marketable assets and answering the questions that I just described, when you hear these objections arise, I need for you to reframe them instantly. If your first thought process is, no one would be interested in that because that's stuff I've always done, I need you to understand that yes, they would. It's valuable. That's why it's valuable, because it's easy for you. And the easier it is for you, the more someone will pay for access to it because they need it, and it's hard for them. Get out of your mind, get into their mind, and serve them for what is easy for you and difficult for them, because you will be able to make their path easier and they will refer that. You may also come up against the objection, I don't know if anyone would buy that. Believe me, your brand isn't just what you sell, it's what you solve. Somebody write that down, put it on a shirt. And I'll say it louder for the people in the back. Your brand isn't just what you sell, it's what you solve. Focus on the outcome that your skill creates for the person who is stuck and struggling. Pay attention to that. Easy for you, hard for them. Those are the first 2 things that I need you to focus on when that objection comes in your mind. If it's easy for you and it's hard for them, they'll pay you to make it easy for them. Don't focus on what you sell, focus on what you solve, because that outcome is your skill set. Focus on the outcome that your skill creates for others. So as I post up the engagement question of today, and I apologize, I didn't even run any of the information telling you about what today's topic was, making sure you understood we're talking about how to identify your skills that you've been overlooking. But today's question is, what's the one thing people always say that you're so good at that you've never thought to brand? Because that is going to be the next step for you. I would suggest that you work on today's activity exercise and that you come into the Brand You community, that you get access to the downloadable worksheets that will help you break down those invisible skills, because we're identifying, mapping, and positioning the overlooked stuff that you've already mastered. And we're doing this inside of our community where available. If you want to join us on tomorrow, we're actually going to be talking about how to package what you've been through as a paid brand. I hope you will join us for that information so that you can get access to that and you can stop sleeping on what someone else is suffering through. You actually have the solution that would help them, okay? Again, please drop your responses below. And that is what is that one thing that you're so good at that you've never thought to brand so that we can help you to brand it. If you'll join us in live after office hours on Zoom at learnleadandlevelup.com, you can also go to community.martinabrittYelverton.com. As soon as we finish up this live stream, we will be in the Zoom room answering brand questions for those who need those questions. And even if you don't have a question that is solvable today, if you drop those questions in the comments on YouTube, it allows me to go and create the video as the solution for what it is that you need. Thank you so much for your time on today. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you, if not on after office hours today, I hope to see you live on tomorrow. Hey y'all, hey, Brandmaster Martina Britt Yelverton here, giving you the latest update about our daily Get Your Assets in Order and Brand You series. Join me live each and every Tuesday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for actionable steps on brand building for beginners, current client revisions, and watch as we level up brands in 2025. We are covering everything from tools, tips, strategies, and systems like Canva, StreamYard, high-level AI automations, and more. These will take you from confused to confident. So after each live stream, you can hop on Zoom with us to ask your questions and get personalized answers. If I were you, I wouldn't miss out. Mark your calendars and subscribe now to our YouTube channels. Join our free communities, and I'll say it louder for the people in the back. If you want to learn, lead, and level up as a struggling entrepreneur, we have the solution, the systems, and the experts. Our entire team is live each and every weekday at 12 p.m., 1 p.m., and 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you can lunch and learn. If you snooze, you will lose. I said what I said. You heard what you heard. Now do what you know you need to do to get your assets in order.